This is Blastoise's 5X, a frame 23 mid-low, special and Shell Fortress cancelable belly bump, and it's one of my favourites. As a move, it can open up pressure, create mix-up opportunities that can be made extra deep by both the ability to cancel into Pokemon moves and Shell Fortress options. And it can help with both positioning and evasive positioning, which by extension leads into potential whiff punish opportunities using Shell Fortress Heavy, also known as SFSX. And best of all, it's mostly safe. Despite it being -12 when uncancelled, it has a large knockback, leaving only very specific characters to punish, such as Shadow Mewtwo. However, large low options like Shadow Mewtwo's 2Y can be evaded by Shell Fortress cancelling backwards, or by hopping over it by using the neutral cancel out of Shell Fortress. You could also try jumping out, but this is a very aggressive play, unless you're cancelling backwards. However, against specifically Aegislash, you have to cancel backwards if you want to avoid being punished. You can probably guess why. Yep, what a privileged character. What's cool, however, is you can push the offensive pretty safely by cancelling into 5A, and if your reactions are good enough, you can get a knockdown thanks to SFSX. Because of this, people will tend to respect 5X if hit on block. And, as already shown, Blastoise has some pretty nasty options for those who don't like holding block. It's also a good option for stuffing out some CAs if timed correctly. Usually it's not too hard to time, as SFX is an incredible 9-frame move. That's fast. However, it goes without saying, this is a super aggressive play, and a 5A into a backwards shell cancel can punish that gung-ho playstyle just as well. Now, just before we move on, many people would probably want to point out 5Y, which is a frame 19, longer range, shell and special cancelable move that has a follow-up to potentially react to blue armored moves. It sounds better already, doesn't it? Well, it is arguably the better move. At full range, cancelling 5Y backwards roughly reaches the same length as 5X, at max range, however. Even if slightly misranged, 5Y doesn't reach the length of the 5X backwards cancel. This is just a case of that's not the move we're talking about today. 5X is built to do this sort of thing, create space that Blastoise can work with. 5Y takes advantage of that space. Maybe someday I'll talk about 5Y, but probably not today. Or for a fair while for that matter. But we'll see. But now let's talk about the wall, somewhere where 5X really starts to show its potential. As previously established, 5X has a lot of knockback, but when the opponent is on the wall, Blastoise obtains that knockback, allowing him to go, well, really far. Couple that with a backwards Shell Fortress cancel, and you've got a lot of space ahead of you. But the reason I highlight this little gap that's been made between you and your opponent is because of probably my favourite part about this move. Earlier I showed about how 5X 5A can stuff out an attack from an opponent if you have good enough reactions. You can combo that into a knockdown. Well, let's add a wall to the equation. Let's assume that you've pushed back your opponent, a mug-stealing Gengar, to the wall using hopefully 5X. So you're learning already. And he is pressing a few too many buttons. Yeah. And with the info we've already established about the speed of SFSX, 9 frames, the opponent should probably think twice about CAing too. Now, all of this is obviously pretty tough to react to, but I swear on my cat, it is reactable. so long as you're not on autopilot and have at least a decent reaction time. Now you sit there. Well, jump out. Okay. Floaties like Gengar and especially Gardevoir get stuffed by this, but there are ways out, even in the air. I'm no Gengar or Gardevoir player, but they have options in the air that could serve to counterplay. But so long as Blastoise can use Rapid Spin, I'd say it's a 50-50. But regardless, it isn't foolproof. Aegislash can be pretty snazzy about it. Which leads into a mix-up. What a privileged character. But what if you hit the 5x? You can't insta-react into Hydro Pump, and don't tell me you can either. Well, depending on your own timing, you can set up pretty nicely into a meaty setup that allows frame 19, such as 5Y or 6Y, to combo. But what if you want to tell me,
No, James! Trust me!
That's easy, I can react to a literal 3-frame hit animation window, come on.
Bruh, trust me. Bruh, trust. I built this.
then sure, you could do the Hydro Pump finish, but where's the fun in that? Good luck. Now, there was another fun little interaction I wanted to talk about, and it's the very reason I want to make this video. But before we do, let's go outside for some air. Ah, that's a lot better. It's just us and that weird little shadow on the ground. Now, I want to start talking about one of my other favorite moves, 8Y. Why do I love it? Well, it's I-19, 2 hits, Shaolin's special cancelable, and frankly, it's just absolute massive. But along with that, damage. But the reason I want to talk about 8Y is to talk about the 4 opponents Blastoise categorizes every character into. You see, against tall characters, Blastoise can get a full conversion off of 8Y that goes past SFSY. What does that mean? Well, watch what happens when Blastoise tries that on a small body. Yeah. Whack. So this means Blastoise has to settle for a knockdown, which isn't bad by any means. Or settle with a much more scaled combo with Rapid Spin, which, yes, carries a fair distance, as you could probably tell by the starting position. Speaking of a fair distance, yeah, only doable on smaller bodies. Oh, and quickly, what do I mean by big and small bodied characters? Well, this is how I think of it. If it's Braixen or smaller, it's a small body. If it's Lucario or bigger, it's a big body. Also, Chandelure, Gengar, and weirdly Darkrai are all small bodies, just in case you were wondering. After the 5x, the opponent is hit at a point in the air where Blastoise recovers much closer to them, allowing for a 4Y wall carry, which is just insane. But unfortunately, bigger bodies are placed much further away from Blastoise, which means you can take advantage of the good spacing, or you can throw in a 6Y for an extra hit. However, I don't usually like doing this because of PSP management. Now I said 4 body types. What else could there be other than the ones we've already established? Well, these are special to Blastoise. One is Aegislash. Aegislash, because of presumably its thin body, gets hit by both of these interactions. Wow, what a bad character. The other special one is Garchomp, who doesn't get hit by either of them. This means you have to cash out pretty early versus Garchomp, which kinda sucks. But there is one thing Blastoise has over Garchomp: a winning matchup.
Like that? I did record that.